Just like it here.
Summer school.
Little
That's brothers.
Okay. Do I have? Oh, wait, I left my.
We ready? We ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. We're gonna reconvene in the open session,
Make a motion, we reconvene.
7:10.
7:10. Okay, there's more. All in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Action to determine closed session. Student expulsion hearing 89-22-23, action for consideration of violation of California Education Code 8900C to expel the student and suspend the expulsion. Do I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second by Adrian. All in favor?
Aye.
Procedure issue. Recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days for public record. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Ready, begin?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, roll call. I'm here. Mario's here. Adrian's here. Sunny is excused absence today, and Dwayne Moore is here. I have a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion with a correction.
Okay, and that correction is?
We remove the letter in the contract for C with Caltech.
Okay, yes, we retract the letter. Yeah, okay. All right.
So I can amend the motion that Mr. Moore made.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Reports and communications. Above and beyond award to Carl's Hardware. Mrs. Gaines?
Thank you. Sam, you are
Yes.
here to represent Carl's Hardware and your father, correct?
Correct, yes.
All right. Rarely, I think this is my third one in 4 years that I've given this award, and I call it the Above and Beyond Award. And I want to say that every year our graduation ceremonies look so nice, even though I always feel bad because I know that when we receive the plants, they're beautiful and they're standing up straight. And then after 2.5 hours at graduation, I can just see some of them kind of leaning over, but you always so graciously take them back. And you're so generous to lend us those plants every year, and among many other things that you do for Southern Kern Unified School District. So I felt that this year I wanted to recognize Carl's Hardware, and just, it's a plaque that, just to say thank you for the partnership that you have with Southern Kern Unified School District. And we know that if we need something in a hurry, we can run to the hardware and hopefully you'll have it. And it just means a lot to us. And I know it means a lot to Raleigh and Quinn and the entire grounds and maintenance crew. And so come on out. And it said, the Above and Beyond Award presented to Carl's Hardware, Eric Lansgard, but I know you're Sam, in recognition of all your support to Southern Kern Unified School District. Thank you for going above and beyond 2022-2023. Make sure your dad gets
I
this.
will. Thank you, Barbara.
You're very, very welcome. Let me give
wait a
you
minute,
that.
before you go, I want to take a picture of you.
Okay. Do you want me in the picture or do you want to be in the picture?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Where do you want background? Right here?
Closer.
Thank you, Barbara.
You're
and
welcome.
On behalf of Carl's Hardware, we appreciate all of you and all your support. And
Thank you.
we're gonna continue to do our best to get you guys fair prices. Always be here for you guys. And like I said, anytime you need anything, we jump for our local guys here. You guys are our number one priority out of everybody. So
Thank you.
it's our own
Thank you
road
so
to school.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Excuse me, I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but can I say something?
Sure.
Sorry. I want to say thank you. My daughter worked for your company during the school year, and she loved it.
Well,
And
who's
so-
your daughter?
Lyric, she's in special ed.
Yes, you're welcome.
She had a good time.
They always, all the students, we love to have them because it's a very positive atmosphere there and we are always encourage them. So I do.
And she didn't want to work, and she loved working for you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
I was gonna chime in there too, and thank you for chiming in. I was gonna chime in about the same thing. And thank you for working with us with our workability program.
Yes.
Because over the years, we have put so many kiddos at your store and they've all loved it. They've all done great. Some of them actually got hired outright at the end of the
Yes.
year. So we are very appreciative for that
Yeah,
as well.
we've had them there past 6 years that came through the workability program. And these are kids that, struggled, they had struggles. And I think the structure really helped these kids as they were getting through a rough time, throughout their life. And it can be on a personal side, it could be here at school, but we encourage any of those, we would love to take them. So please keep sending them our way.
We absolutely will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people out in Boron who said Carl's Harbor was the best thing that ever happened in Boron. So
Yes,
it's all around a good thing.
that and that borax plant, they definitely need that place there. Thank you. If there's any other questions, am I all right to leave?
You may leave.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
Let's have a good day.
Thank you.
RTA report.
Alrighty. Well, it has been now over a year that I have been the RTA president. Some ups, some downs, never boring. With almost every other week, it seems, I wanted to resign. I would hit that low sometime. I just have too much work. Balancing teacher, president, it has been a struggle at times. But I, right now, am very much blessed with a wonderful RTA executive board, a good team that has just helped me more times than I can count. All right, currently, many teachers, including myself, are teaching session 1 of summer school. Big thanks to all for helping our students during this summer break. With negotiations, our RTA hopes to continue negotiations with the district in the upcoming weeks. We are, as a team, looking forward to meeting with the district and apologize for setbacks caused by scheduling conflicts amongst our team. I would like to thank Tammy Starkey and Diane Greenberg for being the negotiations co-chairs and for setting up and organizing RTA's proposals. Welcome to the new teachers and site administrators to our district or their new assignments. Again, welcome to our family. Next, it was announced earlier this month by Barbara Gaines that all teachers at Southern Kern Unified School District will get $300 for classroom supplies. This is a welcome increase from last year. Please, teachers, do not purchase anything for your classroom prior to July 1st. Wait until after that 1st of July. And lastly, and this is what I ended my speech with a year ago, my goal still as president is to be a voice for all educators at Southern Kern Unified School District, have a good relationship with our district office, and keep maintaining a strong teachers association and contract. Thank you.
Okay, so CSEA is not here, so CBO report, Mr. Ray.
All right, well, first of all, congratulations on 1 year, Mr. Warfield.
There you go.
You don't look at day over day 2 of RTA president, so you wear it well. Thank you to all the teachers, yourself included, and administrators, classified, everybody working summer school. Jen, without you, we wouldn't have summer school, and I'm sure what everybody was looking forward to right after school let out was a day off and then getting right back into summer school, and then inclement weather happened and it turned into going right back into the fire. But thank you everybody, appreciate it. As far as I go, been not hiding in my office, but hobbled away trying to put together a budget and keep pace with what is the legislature and the governor, and what is trying to predict the future look like when we put a budget out a week before the state does. So I've been working on that, as well as construction. Last 2 weeks ago now, they did the contractors did the job walk for the NPR project at the high school. So right now we are in the RFI phase, where contractors that walked are submitting questions to the architect and trying to get more information before they make a formal bid, so that they can make as educated as a guess as possible. Bids are slated to close a little bit less than a month from now on July 13th. So hopefully everybody asks the questions that they need, and then don't upcharge us for not asking questions, and figuring out that if they have questions, we can pay for it later. We've done a ground survey in the meantime to identify as many utilities and anything else in their way to try and make it as painless as possible. Knocking on wood. And that is about it for me. It's been a lot of LCAP and budget. So thank you.
Thank you. Assistant Superintendent, Instruction and Curriculum, Dr. Mendez.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Gaines, Board RTA President John Warfield, colleagues, community. Want to report out on some of the great things going on in Ed Services. We recently attended, including teachers, counselors, administrators. We attended the PLC at Work Institute in Las Vegas. We were focused on many different items there, including powerful messages from keynote speakers. We had an opportunity to participate in breakout sessions as well. And then we had some team time. We were provided with materials and resources. Some of these posters that you see around the conference room here were developed during team time. We had a jigsaw activity followed by a Write, Think, Pair, Share, and then we had a gallery walk. So team members had an opportunity to view each other's posters, and then they had a chance to comment with post-its on the posters there at the PLC at Work Institute. So that was June 7th through June 9th, and we had 38 team members that were able to join us during that time. We're getting ready for Avid Summer Institute coming up towards the end of the month. We're planning on having 56 team members join. Avid will be focused on 4 areas, which include instruction, include systems, leadership, and culture. Those are the 4 Avid domains. We'll have an opportunity to participate in the community of practice sessions. So that's going to be coming up towards the end of the month. We will be having PBIS training tomorrow. It'll be here in the conference room with our representative, Chip Wilson, from the Kern County Superintendent of Schools office. We'll have another training on the 23rd. And then on this Friday, we're going to have a professional development with Dr. Douglas Fisher. That'll be occurring this Friday here in the conference room. Additionally, we've met with Dr. Wetzel regarding planning for next school year. We'll be meeting with Mr. Ken O'Connor regarding next steps in regards to the grading committee. And then we're going to continue with our summer school sessions, session 1, session 2, and extended school year. So that is a report from Ed Services.
Thank you, sir.
Any questions?
No. Thank you. You're welcome. Assistant Superintendent, Special Education, Pupil Personnel, Ms. Keller.
Hello, everyone. So I wanted to share just a few things. We are working on our end of year report, some of it being state compliance and some of it also being grant funds and how those funds were used. One of those involves workability, actually, so we are just finishing to submit all of the final paperwork for that, and we're hoping to be able to expand on it next year, including some WIA positions as well as workability positions. I was going to mention Hope Squad Conference. I missed the PLC one, which I thought was going to be amazing, but I exchanged that to go to a Hope Squad certification trainer session. So Mrs. Campbellisa and I are now going to be able to train additional staff as service providers and support staff for the Hope Squad program. So we're very excited about that because it'll give a lot more support for students and for mental health, social, emotional needs, all kinds of things. Also additional people for activities that we're hoping to do for next school year. And the last thing was about mental health funds. Starting in July, we'll be receiving our own mental health funds. They used to always be lumped in a pool with the county, but we have the opportunity to receive them directly starting this July. So we are going to be doing that, which will give us a nice lump of money in order to support additional mental health throughout our district. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Associate Superintendent of Human Resources is not here, so we'll dispense with that. Superintendent report, Mrs. Gaines?
Thank you, Mr. Vincelette. Dr. Bidness did a great job of thoroughly covering the PLC conference, but I just want to add that I was so proud of everyone who attended that conference because during the 3 days of the conference, we had 3 keynote speakers and we had 5 breakout sessions and team time. And I can tell you, I've never seen such a group, hustling and bustling to attend the different sessions. There were multiple sessions at each of the breakout sessions, and the keynote and the speakers were all phenomenal. They're all very well known in the professional learning community world. And I was hoping, Dr. Mendez, you would show the team picture with Dr. Anthony Mohammed, but we took a team picture on Thursday in between it was Friday. It was Friday in between the breakout session and the final keynote. And Dr. Anthony Mohammed joined the team for that picture. So we have a very nice, I hope to get it framed and put it in the boardroom. Dr. Anthony Mohammed was years ago the National Middle School Teacher of the Year. He has authored many books on everything related to making sure that our professional learning communities, whether at grade level or department, impact every child in the school and how important looking at data is. And so it was a powerful conference. I had several teachers, John and site admin, come up to me and say, this was such a great conference. And I've attended a lot of conferences in my career, and I have to say, I thought it was one of the best conferences I've ever attended. We were so gung-ho, we were down for breakfast at 6:30 every day, just so we made sure we got our breakfast, and we were in there in time for the keynotes, but every keynote was incredible. And we ended the final keynote, Mario, you might have liked it, doing a line dance, all 2,000 of us. So we were all like looking for a little nook and cranny where we could do that line dance. But it was a great conference. I can only say I wish every teacher, every administrator would have been able to attend that. We are in week 2 of our first session of summer school. And again, I want to thank all of the teachers and the site admin for making sure that our extended school year summer school and our first session of summer school are running smoothly. This is an opportunity for students to get caught up on any credits they might still be in need of. And for some of the kids, it's also an opportunity for some enrichment activities, which is just as important. John, I want to say that I'm glad that you're happy now, happier today, and we look forward to continuing our work with you. We have another whole year, right?
Oh, yeah.
Another whole year, but who's counting on that? Anyway, I look forward. It's been a pleasure, John, working with you. And we have a lot going on this summer. I mean, as Dr. Mendez says, we're with Kern County all day tomorrow here in the boardroom, and we have Dr. Doug Fisher, who is renowned, here with us again, focusing on teacher clarity and making sure that we are engaging every day, every minute of the day with each and every one of our students. So really look forward to that. And I think that's probably it for me today.
And then make sure we can share it out if you like, and we can share it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
share it when you can. Sure, absolutely.
I will just add something to what she's saying. I was in the office Friday afternoon and Mrs. Gaines comes in and I've never seen her so excited about that conference and the way she was describing in that. And I will have to thank her, and I think we all benefit even from the board, that she sets up these meetings and these conferences so that our teachers can become better, our administrators can become better, and make us one of the top districts in this area. I think that's one of her goals, and I definitely want to let her know, I think the board, if I'm speaking for the board, we appreciate her efforts all the way around on this.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a team effort, Bob.
Yes, it is. You got a good team.
Exciting.
Okay, board communications. Adrian.
Okay, I don't really have too much, but first of all, good evening to everyone and everyone that's missing. So this is kind of the first for me during the summer session, I guess. So we're about 2 weeks into that. So I guess I hope everyone's enjoying summer school or vacation, either way. I hope you're enjoying that. Thank you to Dr. Mendez, Ms. Taylor, and Mr. Warfield for your comments. I was actually wondering what all of these posters were for when we walked in to the meeting earlier. So I would have loved to have attended that PLC conference. I don't think I would have been able to. I still really don't know that.
Careful what you wish for.
I want to absorb all the information I can. So I think that would have been interesting to be a part of.
And I can piggyback something because you brought it up, Brendan. When we were in our little Southern Kern room, well, it wasn't that small, one of the employees of Solution Tree stopped by, and I think she was just gonna say hi, but then what she saw was all 38 of everybody in action, talking and creating these posters, either with a partner, or there might have been 3 or 4 of them. And what these represent is each one is a different breakout session. And so then she said, oh my goodness, do you mind if I go in and take pictures? And I said, oh, no, please help yourself. And she did. A few minutes later, then here came one of the presenters, and he was inside taking pictures. And they said, do you mind if we post these on our website? And I was like, oh, sure. No, that was like the LC website, how bad. Solution Tree website couldn't be anything bad. So we probably will be on there, but I think they were pleasantly surprised that our our staff, our team, after attending, at that point in time, we'd only attended 4 breakout sessions. We still had 1 more to attend. We're able to, capture their thoughts and memorialize what they learned in each one of these breakout sessions on these posters. It was very powerful, very, very powerful. And it was supposed to be from 2:45 to 3:45. Don't grieve me, John. And the teachers stayed in there, most of them for like an extra half hour, because they were just into it, doing the work. And
This workshop was in Vegas.
hmm?
This was in Vegas.
Yes, sir.
I got 6:30 for breakfast and steak.
Yes, 6:30 for breakfast in Vegas, and some of them having dinner were still talking about the session. Some of them are sitting right here in this room. There's 2 right there, and there was a lot of talk about the sessions. Yeah. So I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
that's fine,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, I don't have anything else, that was it.
Yeah, there was a lot of engagement.
There was.
Yes, that's great.
That's good, that is a great thing, because it does help us improve the district.
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
All I have is, happy summer break to all the kids out there that don't gotta go to summer school or don't wanna go to summer school. And, thank you to all the staff who decided to work for summer school, because isn't it kind of like okay, I'll work? Okay, so yeah, thank you to those who said they would work summer school, and especially to the ones who decided to work both sessions. And other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you. Mario?
Hello.
Hello.
I have attended a lot of the different conferences, and when you get a workshop that really gets you engaged, they're amazing. I'm grateful that we are able to send enough teachers to these sessions and get everybody engaged. Because all it is helping our kids do better, get what they need, and, I guess that's our job, right? Get kids educated. Thank you for coming. That's it.
Can I have one more thing?
Oh, of course.
Cheryl, the PLC one, I am sorry you missed out on that one, but I'm also glad you decided to go to the Hope Squad one, because in today's society, I really think the Hope Squad it's definitely needed. Those conferences that you're going to, I think are right now and in the near future, they're going to be needed quite often, as they already are. So thank you for that.
I guess it's my turn. I saw in the Valley Press, we made 2 classroom spotlights this year, and Sarah Varela was one of them. And I really liked the responses from the students, but they had 3 questions that they had to talk about. What would you do if you found $500? If you could be invisible for a day, what would you do? And if you could make one rule at school that everybody had to follow, what it would be. And it was all over the charts on some of the stuff. But one thing still it stood out a little bit to me is the comment about stop bullying and treat everybody nice. So that means we still have work to do, is for what I read, if this is coming from 2nd graders. The other thing that I want to mention, I want to thank the board. Unfortunately, Sunny isn't here, and she has a family emergency. But I want to thank this board. This board has been real busy this year, been very active. We have been extremely active. Mario and I work on the safety and security. I know Sunny works on the board policy. We have Mario and Jolene on the construction. And that's a lot of time for us board members, including because I'm the only one I think that gets a little lucky as I get to be somewhat retired. But I want to thank these folks because as being their leader this year, they're doing an outstanding job, but they don't get the credit that they deserve. So I want to make sure that I thank them as well as Mrs. Gaines, because she made a comment the other day, if you're going through superintendents like crazy, you've got a problem. Well, we've got a good superintendent. I don't plan on letting her go, and I don't think the rest of the board does, because she's leading this district. So she's part of that leadership team we need desperately to keep going. So again, thank you guys. You appreciate your efforts. And we still got, Dwayne, you and I still got one more year before we got to face the voters. So we'll see where it goes.
Go for that one.
Yeah. But, you know, that's basically what it is. And everybody, as I said, I thank everybody for coming. And we still do have, your cabinet is also great. And they've done a lot, and they're great to work with as well. So, that's it for me. All right.
Actually, if, one more thing, to just encourage, parents, anybody from the community to, give us some of your public comments. Just to let us know, you know, good, bad, whatever it is, because if we don't know, we can't
Well,
fix
and
it.
you're right, and I have gotten a few comments, and I've had some discussions with a couple of folks, and one of them was about classroom size and so forth, and again, they're getting invited to come. This is what their forum is here. This is the kind of, it's, even though we, you know, it's our meeting, so to speak, but they can come in with their public comments, and we encourage that, as well as we encourage them to please get involved in your students' schoolwork and what they're doing, because if you don't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden you get hit with something like tardies, and I'm reading a bunch of stuff, well, I'm not gonna go see the principal on the tardies, because my kids were excused from, they don't understand. And you see a lot of that out there in the community. So please, community members, come here.
Come here, submit your comment. Things, I don't do social media, so I don't do
I'll only
that.
look. I won't answer.
So, you're invited. That's it.
Okay. Okay, without further ado, comments from the public.
Yes.
Okay, members of the public may address the board on any items within jurisdiction of the board by submitting a presentation request to the secretary or an email. Members of the public are strongly urged not to mention personnel by name and are reminded that they do not have immunity from legal action if personnel is named. The board may limit each speaker to 3 minutes with a total of 20 minutes per topic. Okay, Sonia Booker, safety issues at Roseman High School, Special Education Life Skills Program. You're up.
Thank you, sir. Hello, board. My name is Sonia Booker, and my daughter is a student in the life skills class at Roseman High School. I'm the parent who wrote letters dated May 22nd and June 2nd regarding the violence in the classroom and my parent safety visits being suspended. There's a violent student in this class. I have grave concerns that a child will eventually be injured. I witnessed 2 days of violent behavior, and then the student was removed only to return 2 days later. He had no one-to-one aid. No administrators were present to observe in the classroom. Nothing had changed. After this child returned to class, security was called multiple times. I watched him corner a student who asked him to move. He said no. I saw him look at an aide and say bye and then run out the door. I witnessed the student attack an aide as she was walking him to the cafeteria. Suddenly, he just started yelling at her, pushing her, and hitting her. Therefore, I have some questions. Does this student need a more restrictive environment? Why doesn't this student have a one-on-one aide? Does the student's IEP state he's supposed to have a one-on-one aide? Are there other students in this class who are supposed to have a one-on-one aide and don't? If so, did you know this is a violation of both state and federal law? So my hope in coming here today is to encourage administration to give this child the services, support, and placement he needs, to restore safety to all students so physical harm does not come to them to have an environment without physical violence or verbal violence, and to have these issues resolved before school starts in August. Let me take a moment to say I have no complaints regarding any employees at Roseman High School. All staff work extremely well together, and they quickly come together as a team to de-escalate any behaviors. Now, as of today, I have not been contacted about either of my letters. I would like to know who stopped my parents' safety visits and the reason. Did this person follow policy when they cut off my visits, even though both teacher and principal approved? If so, I would like a copy of this policy for my benefit. I can make this request in writing if need be. Also, I would be more than happy to talk about the life skills class more with the board as a group or individually. So I'll be reaching out. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Really appreciate your coming to the board for us.
Thank you.
Consent items. Except for C, which is to approve the Teletech Security System, Inc., proposal for burglar alarm systems, email incidents report. There was a letter attached that's been retracted for correction, so that will not be part of it. Do I have any questions? Any other questions?
Now, I will make a motion to accept
Okay.
A through W.
Mhm.
That's all it is.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, second by Moore, motion by Mr. Gutierrez. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next on the list.
Is it okay if I excuse myself?
What's that?
Is it okay if I excuse myself?
Yes, you may.
Thank you guys for your time. Sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Number 5, general. Approved changes to contract from Medallion Contracting for site utility work for school expansion project. SKUSD-TMS-SUW. Total change of $29,815.70. Mr. Urban?
All right. One of my least favorite topics, change orders. So this is a combination of a few different things. The most expensive part of this grouping is the demolition and replacement of the basketball equipment on the blacktop at Tropico. While doing the paving, it was discovered that the water remediation, the slope wasn't quite there for it. So as part of that, we needed to pull out some of the basketball hoops and everything else to make sure that as, you know, water flows off the blacktop when it rains, that it is actually, you know, happening and not pulling up in the middle of the asphalt, which, you know, we all know will lead to, you know, cracks, erosion, damage, all of that stuff that we're paying good money to avoid. So that's $14,000 of this. The next item of that of this change order that is fairly expensive is the change in the fire riser connections for the restroom buildings. The change is necessary so that the fire risers aren't exposed to the weather outdoors. So in the event that something happens, that, you know, if the fire sprinklers are supposed to come on, that the pipes aren't frozen, which should, you know, lead to more issues than we would like. I asked that the board approve that these changes so that we can, you know, end up with a project that, you know, the campus definitely deserves.
Being on that committee that oversaw a lot of these changes, I'll make a motion that we approve these changes.
Okay,
I'll second.
second by Moore. All in favor? Aye. Okay. Approve revised 2022-2024 18-month SKU Board of Trustees meeting calendar. Change the board meeting date from Wednesday, July 19th, 2023 to Tuesday, July 18th, 2023.
I will make that motion because I requested that date change.
I will second that. All in favor? Aye. Proposal, sunshine proposal to RTA. Mrs. Gaines?
Yes, in your packet, at the last board meeting, board members, RTA sunshine their proposal for us, and I think if my memory serves me right, there were 5 articles that will be discussed during the upcoming negotiations. Ours is on page 135, and Southern Kern, the district is, the district's initial proposal is for 3 articles, 8, 21, and 22. And we are reserving the right to potentially reopen 2 additional articles with proper notice to RTA, should that happen. And so that's just sunshining our proposal back. And as Mr. Warfield mentioned, hopefully in the near future, when we can gather a date that's good for everybody on both teams, we'll be able to begin the negotiation process.
I'll make a motion that we recess for the
Hearing
Open hearing,
open hearing.
7:52.
and that's by Moore. All in favor? Aye. Any comments from the public?
Public, any comments?
Not even from you? I'm just kidding. Okay. Well,
In that case, I'll make a motion that we go back to our
regular meeting,
regular meeting.
okay? Second by Moore, and that is
7:52 still.
7:52. All in favor? Aye. Local control accountability plan, Mr. Wexler.
Okay, this is an informational presentation. Part of the LCAP process is to solicit feedback from our community. So during the presentation, if you have any questions, any comments, please raise your hand and we'll stop and take those questions or comments. So
Now, we're getting the best version of this big packet, right?
I'm gonna go through all 80 actions. Okay. Okay, first, what is the LCAP? LCAP stands for Local Control Accountability Plan. The idea is that school districts in their community know what's best for their students and for their community. So school districts are able to develop the LCAP, which is a 3-year education and funding plan. It's guided by the state priorities, so we can't just do whatever we want. But we are given the freedom to develop our own 3-year education and funding plan. And the LCAP focuses on providing additional services to our unduplicated students, which are low-income students, English learners, and foster youth. Okay, a big part of the LCAP is the process of developing the LCAP with the community, with our educational partners. So that informs the LCAP. We take feedback and suggestions from a variety of sources, and we use those to evaluate our current LCAP and to develop the upcoming year's LCAP. So some of the forums where we got feedback and engaged with the community include cabinet meetings. The LCAP is part of the weekly cabinet meeting where we review the progress of the LCAP and develop the next year's LCAP. There's the LCAP committee, which meets twice a month in the spring for about 3 months, again, to review the progress of the LCAP, to make suggestions for the upcoming year's LCAP. We give board presentations. This is our second board presentation for this year's LCAP. We send out the LCAP survey, which had 368 respondents. And we get a tremendous amount of feedback from the LCAP survey that we use to inform and to integrate into the upcoming year's LCAP. The LCAP is presented at some of the monthly school site council meetings. We presented the LCAP to the DLAC committee, and we also review the LCAP with the district advisory committee and get feedback and suggestions from the district advisory committee. Okay, as we talked about, the LCAP focuses on providing services to our unduplicated students, which are our English learners, our foster, and our low socioeconomic students, who are eligible for free or reduced price meals. Our LCAP has 5 goals. Those goals are goal number 1, academic achievement, goal number 2, a healthy school culture, goal number 3, engaging the community, goal number 4 is recruiting, retaining, and developing high-quality faculty and staff, and goal number 5 is science education, next generation science standards, NGSS. Before we dive into the LCAP, I want to take a look at the California School Dashboard. The dashboard is the main way that the state of California, the CDE, evaluates school districts. First of all, the dashboard is always looking at last year's data. They wanted to use the official data. So the data that we're looking at is from the 21-22 school year, the previous year. So on the dashboard, there are 7 metrics that the state collects data and evaluates us on. And then these other metrics, sorry. I forgot to. Okay. Okay. So there are 7 metrics that the state looks at, collects data and evaluates us on. And then there are some metrics where we evaluate ourselves, where the state doesn't collect data and we do a self-evaluation. And we'll be looking at that next week when we look at the local performance indicators. So let's go through the main metrics on the dashboard. Again, this is from the 21-22 school year. First, chronic absence. The dashboard uses the cell phone bar indicator. Your cell phone has 5 bars that indicates your signal strength. So a 1 being it's a 5-point scale, 1 being the lowest and a 5 being the highest. So for the 21-22 school year, for chronic absenteeism, we scored a 1, very, very high, which is the worst score. A 1 being the worst, a 5 being the best. We had 38.8% of our students were chronically absent. For this school year, we went down to 34.1%, so an improvement of 4.7%. So I believe that for chronic absenteeism, we'll move up to a level 2, a high, because of the improvement. For the 21-22 school year, our suspension rate was high at 6.2% suspended. That's moved up to, I believe, 9.3%, an increase of over 3%. So I believe we'll move down to a very high suspension rate. Next is English learner progress. We scored a 2 low. 39.8% of our EL students made progress towards English language proficiency. We don't have the data for this school year yet for that. Next is graduation rate. We scored a 3 median, 87.5% of our seniors graduated. And we haven't collected the data on that yet, but we're always in about that range. College and career, we didn't have data from last year. Next is English language arts and mathematics. That's measured on the school's state or the district's performance on the state test, the CASP. And what we're looking at here is our points below standard. So the CASP is a 4-point scale, a 1 being a standard not met, a 2 being standard nearly met, a 3 being standard met, and a 4 being standard exceeded. Standard is the lowest point of a level 3 standard met. So the state collects all of our scale scores and averages them out. And for English language arts, we scored a 2 low. We were 63.6 points below standard. And for math, we scored a 1 very low. We were 108 points below standard. And now for this year, we have a report that's available to us which shows our preliminary data on the CASP score for this year. We have a slight decrease in English language arts, so we're at risk of going down to 1 very low for English language arts. We have an increase in our math scores, so there's a good chance that we'll improve to a 2 for math. Okay, next, goal 1, academic achievement.
Before we go any further.
Yes.
That's also the very first year back from COVID.
Correct.
So how does our dashboard compare to the state dashboards?
We are, so it, and we'll look at, are you talking about overall or just for the state
Yeah,
test?
overall, because I know we get measured along with the kind of average with the others, the rest of the state.
Uh-huh.
Because you can't go by just the metrics of what we should be at on that year, because that year was like, everybody kind of fell through the cracks.
Yes, and that year there was still plenty of COVID, plenty of people still
We still had a lot of
fearful.
people out, we still had,
And Dan, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, it is my understanding, I believe they told us at the superintendent meeting, that data, 36 out of 46 or 48 districts in Kern County are all in the same boat.
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I know it looks really bad on there, but I really hate to say this, but I think even though we gotta collect the data because we need to find out where our board banks stand, it's not a good standard.
Right.
Because you can only go up. Because of, now this year we should be growing quite a bit. And next year we should even grow even more, only if nothing else is we actually have the kids with us here. So that's just.
Dan, am I allowed to say what the preliminary finding kind of is generically?
Uh-huh.
Preliminary findings for the 22-23 shows that the elementaries, for the most part, the elementaries, the 2 elementary schools, each grade level with the exception of 1 went up in both ELA and math. It's the secondary, 8th grade went up in math, 11th grade went up in math, but it's the 6th and 7th that we have to do some more work.
Yeah, okay. It was just my observation. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. Okay, so outcomes for goal 1. So for every goal, there are annual measurable outcomes, metrics that we use to evaluate how we're doing in that goal. So goal 1 is academic achievement, so we're looking at metrics that measure academic achievement. Obviously, the top, the most important metric for measuring student achievement is our results on the state test, the CASP. So for ELA, in 2019, we were 43 points below standard. In 2022, we were 63.6 points below standard. In math, our baseline from 2019, we were 85.6 points below standard. And in 2022, we sank to 108 points below standard. And then as you were talking about, it's useful to have a benchmark to measure yourself against. So we measure ourselves against Kern County. And this statistic is our percent proficient. So we talked about proficient is standard met or standard exceeded, a level 3 or a level 4. This is our percentage of students who scored level 3 or level 4. So for ELA, 25.2% of our students scored proficient as compared to 37.9% of Kern County students. In math, 12.5% of our students were proficient as compared to 21.3% of students in Kern County were proficient in math in the 2022 school year. Okay, next we'll move into the actions. So for every goal we have actions that we implement in order to achieve that goal. As we said, there are 80 actions. We're just gonna do the most important actions, the big ticket items, so to speak. Okay, so action one is professional learning communities, which as we've seen from this evening's meeting, we're doing a lot with professional learning communities. We have a $287,000 budget for PLCs. The PLC cycle of inquiry model of collaboration and school improvement will be implemented district-wide. The district is contracted with Solution Tree to provide ongoing training to faculty and administration. Next is action three, digital curriculum, $753,000 budget. Digital curriculum, for all of the curriculum that we purchase printed and digital curriculum. We are required to have printed curriculum, so we don't use LCAP funding for that. We use LCAP funding to pay for the digital component of the core curriculum that we purchase. Next is action five, reading intervention. Oh, did I forget to?
Yes.
So I think,
Do you want Elvin to do it for you?
I think you're,
Okay, we're good.
yeah, we got it.
Okay. Next is reading intervention, $416,000 budget. We use Read 180 at Tropical Middle School and Rosemont High School, and we will expand the program at those two schools for next year. We're using Success for All reading intervention curriculum at RAS and West Park in the primary grades, and we will put a solution for grades 3 through 5 in place for next year. Next is the CTE program, $1,564,000 budget. We'll provide 10 pathways that have both concentrator and capstone courses. Action 8, after-school programs, $548,000 budget. This is the ACES program at RAS West Park and TMS. This doesn't include the high school, that's a separate action, that's the extracurricular activities action. Action 9, academic counseling, $425,000 budget. We have 2 academic counselors at the high school and 1 academic counselor at the middle school. Action 11, summer school, $477,000 budget. We have 2 3-week sessions of summer school. We have the extended school year program for our special education students. We provide transportation, breakfast, snack, and lunch. Action 17 is paraeducators, $652,000 budget. Paraeducators provide additional support to general education classrooms. Currently, there are 5 gen ed paras at elementary, 2 at alt ed, and 3 at the high school. Next is action 18, one-to-one devices. We provide every student in the district with a one-to-one device. TK through first grade is iPads, grades 2 through 12 is Chromebooks. From grades 4 through 12, students are allowed to take their Chromebooks home. This action enables us to replenish our supply of Chromebooks, and it also pays for the school site IT technicians. Action 26 is libraries, $326,000. We will continue to add books to our libraries, and this pays for the library/media tech positions as well. Action 28 is interventionists, a $600,000 budget. Interventionists will coordinate the MTSS Learning Support Program, focusing on reading and math. Interventionists will review student data and coach teachers on meeting the needs of their unduplicated students. The interventionists will meet with students individually to discuss academic outcomes and develop plans for improvement. Okay, next is our new actions. New action for goal 1 is action 30, Spanish program at the middle school. This isn't a new act. We've had a Spanish program at the middle school for years, but for next year, we're going to use LCAP funding to pay for it. And this pays for the salary and benefits of the Spanish teacher, as well as the Spanish curriculum. And then next is Universal Design for Learning. We have a $15,000 budget for UDL. UDL provides flexible approaches to learning and supports students with diverse learning needs. The UDL framework helps to keep learners motivated and engaged in the learning process. And we're doing this program in collaboration with KCSOS. Okay, next is goal 2, create a safe and welcoming learning environment. Okay, the annual measurable outcomes for action for goal 2. In the 21-22 school year, 38.8% of students were chronically absent. This past school year, 34.1% of students were chronically absent, and that's an improvement of 4.7%. Suspension rate. In the 21-22 school year, 6.1% of students were suspended 1 or more times. This past year, 22-23, 9.3% of students were suspended 1 or more times. That's an increase of 3.2%. Okay, next, let's look at the actions for goal 2. Action 2, mental health services, $1,384,000. The district employs 5 school psychologists,
2 intern psychologists, and 2 therapists. The district has added a new position, board certified behavior analyst. Action 4 is child nutrition, $1,105,000 budget. We'll continue to offer free breakfast and lunch for all SKUSD students. We'll continue to have summer feeding programs through the summer school program, which will be available to all students in the district. We will continue to provide free dinner to students who are in the after-school program. Action 5 is additional nurses, $329,000 budget. Continue to have additional licensed vocational nurses and LVN, and 1 registered nurse who support each school site. Next, Action 7, extracurricular activities. This is for the high school, $461,000 budget. Increase student connectedness to school at the middle and upper levels through extracurricular activities such as music, sports, robotics, math leads, and a variety of clubs. Action 11, campus safety officers, $1,167,000 budget. Many SKUSD students need additional support in the areas of conflict resolution, positive behavior intervention, and additional trusted adults on campus. The district will continue to staff campus safety officers at all school sites. CSOs establish positive relationships with students and play an integral role in establishing a healthy climate at each school site. Action 12, transportation, has increased to a $2,444,000 budget. We offer bus services to students to and from school. Additional bus routes and buses have been added. The area of bus service has increased. Transportation will be provided for after-school programs. For next year, the district is adding 3 full-size buses and hiring 3 additional drivers. Action 13, facilities, $1,393,000 budget. Provide additional facility and support operations staff, including custodial and maintenance, to provide a clean, safe, and secure learning environment for all students. Extra custodians support additional food services and after-school programs. We have about 6 custodians per campus. Action 14 is the California Cadet Corps, $330,000 budget. The Cadet Corps program at TMS and RHS develops student leadership abilities, promotes academic excellence, and teaches basic military subjects. Action 19, assistant principals, $1,150,000 budget. Assistant principals take a proactive approach to discipline by using alternatives to suspension and PBIS to support the multi-tiered system of supports. New for next year is an additional AP position at the high school. Okay, finally for goal 2, we have some new actions. We have a very big ticket item in this. Action 25, new multi-purpose room for Roseman High Early College campus, $7 million budget. The district will construct a new multi-purpose room at our Roseman High Early College campus. Roseman High Early College campus will use the NPR for dances, pep rallies, clubs, professional development, assemblies, and other school events. The NPR will have state-of-the-art technology, lighting, and sound systems, which will enhance the quality of performances and presentations. Action 26, and this is an important one, alternative to suspension teachers. New action, $240,000 budget. The district will provide an alternative classroom setting for students that have been suspended but not expelled. The ATS program will be held at the high school and TMS. Students who attend ATS will receive credit for attending school, and the suspension will not be reflected on their attendance record and disciplinary action. ATS will be supervised by a credentialed teacher. In addition to doing their schoolwork, students will partake in life skills activities and group activities that promote social, emotional learning, and conflict resolution. Any questions or comments about goal 2?
I have a question about that. So the alternative to suspension, so that's just, for instance, just like for the day or a couple days?
Yes.
It's not like,
Depending on how many days they're suspended for, instead of going home and playing on their video game, they'll go to this room into the court. And they'll also eat lunch in that room.
okay.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
And it won't count as a suspension.
And it won't count as
Correct.
as a suspension?
Correct.
Will not,
It will help us lower.
it'll be an in-house.
Because we'll have the credentialed teacher running the class, we don't have to count it as a suspension.
It'll help us lower our suspension rate. Goal number 3, community engagement. Action 7, student materials, $105,000 budget. Unduplicated students lack resources and necessary school supplies. Our parent community center will provide backpacks and school supplies to students. Every classroom gets a budget for additional school supplies, which is $300. Okay, new action for goal number 3, action 11, parent volunteers, $5,000 budget. To promote parent volunteers, the district has set up a live scan machine in the HR department office. The district will pay the cost of live scans.
That could be pretty expensive. I mean, not for this, but individually it's up to $100.
Yeah.
Is it 49?
Yeah, if you're going to an outside agency though, they're gonna be charging you what's called a rolling fee, and that's how the business makes money. On the district side, currently it's set up that you pay what the cost is, so where the district's not profiting with this. For the parent volunteers, we're covering that, to get new volunteers process this cuts a barrier down. Someone like, I don't have the money to do a volunteer in my kid's classroom. This will give them that opportunity.
Last time I come back, so it was 100 touch offs.
If it's done through a district, it's a lot less.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know, I'm really glad it was like estimates.
Goal 4, high quality faculty and staff. Action 1, professional development, $500,000 budget. We're holding extensive PD, including teacher clarity with Doug Fisher, inclusion and co-teaching training, classroom management for paraeducators, MTSS differentiating instruction, thinking maps, newly adopted curriculum, CHAMPS classroom management, and a coaching program with KCSLS for math, social studies, and science. And then finally, we have our goal 5, science education, next generation science. Okay, and the annual measurable outcome for goal 5, students in grades 5, 8, and 10 take the California Science test as part of the CASP testing. So we measure our science education through that state test. The baseline from 2018, CASP test results, 18.1% of our students met or exceeded standard for science. And in the 21-22 school year, for our CASP test results, 12.2% of our students met or exceeded standard for science. And then our action 1 for science is curriculum and materials. We have a $50,000 budget. And that's to adopt NGSS designed or aligned curriculum and materials.
Dan, question please?
Yes.
On 2018 and 19 science, I don't believe those were NGSS standards, correct?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. Big difference.
Okay. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions or comments?
Just one for you, Dan. Last year we had we've been very fortunate to have Jimmy Johnson as basically the athletic administrator for us. But last year you had a item in the LCAP for it. I didn't see it here, and I don't know if we need to start looking at and planning the day that Jimmy says, I've had enough, and really need to go out and hire somebody. Is that included in this LCAP?
It's in the assistant principal.
Thank you, sir. That's all I wanted to know.
Dan, just see me tomorrow, goal 2, we need to make a correction in goal 2.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is an informational item. Next week, June 21st, the board will vote to approve. Thank you.
I have one thing, about, I don't know what it would fall under, but it was like training. Is there any type of training for CSOs?
Yes, and that's in the campus safety officer action, right?
Public hearing and district budget. Mr. Urban.
So while Dan will go through all the actions, I'm gonna go through all 1,800 account codes. Just
Oh, I ate my thing, so I can't throw any.
I'm gonna move this
Why
to.
not still
She's got one left, so you better be careful.
There we go.
And I've already hurt my arm trying to pretend to throw it, Dan.
All right, so this is the public hearing for the 23-24 budget. First off, this is a working draft, but on this handout, if you grabbed it, has draft in the middle of it. I already know there's stuff that I have to correct before next week board meeting, so tomorrow, so I can give it to Alma on time before Alma keys my car. Why is it still a working draft? Couple things. There's a lot of uncertainty in the 23-24 final budget. For starters, the April tax receipts, the second installment of property taxes, large one, not property taxes, but income tax, all that, everybody's favorite April 15th deadline was pushed back to October, which makes things real fun when the state is guessing what their revenue is going to be, and we'll have a real number in October, which is, if my calendar is correct, not when school starts, but maybe I have the wrong calendar up. So when I'm getting ready to start working on first interim, the state will finally know how much money they made this year. As part of that, and the same message that has gone out for the last 3 quarters from the Anderson School of Management is there's a 50% chance of some form of recession before the end of 2023. But for 3 quarters straight, it's been okay. If you ask 2 economists, one's going to say yes, the other's no. It doesn't really lend itself to be that helpful for me to try and prognosticate off of, because they have far more advanced degrees and know how to use Excel far better than I do. Some of the discretionary block grant in the governor's May revise, his May revise included a cut to this of 50% from the what was allocated for 22-23. For our district, that would be about $1 million. A little bit. The legislator on the next slide, they have a slight cut to it, not as dramatic as this, but as I'll get to in the next slide, there's a little bit of tug of war that happens this time of year between the governor and the legislature. As we all probably know by now, the COLA is 8.22. This is a statutory number. It's not, something that, at least statutorily, this is, what the number is. Whether or not funded COLA, that becomes a separate argument and issue, but both the governor and legislature at this point have, both of their budgets include a fully funded COLA at 8.22%. How they get to that number for this year may be on the back of using one-time monies to fully fund the COLA this year, and then I guess in the year after next we figure out, okay, how do we backfill that one-time money? So that more on that we'll know before the end of the month when the state passes its overall budget. And then as part of changes coming out of COVID and trying to address declining enrollment statewide, our funding will either be the rolling average of 3 prior years or our previous year's P2, whichever number is higher. So there is some sort of relief there in case our numbers, isn't at this point not a Southern Kern issue. It's basically everywhere else is dealing with declining enrollment while we're managing the headache of increased enrollment and where to keep students in classrooms and, all of those problems. So okay, now getting into the legislature, per the Constitution, they need to pass their budget by June 15th or they're subject to penalties. So naturally, earlier this week, they finally put out their proposed budget so that they can, make sure that they are on the June end of month payroll for the legislature. There are a couple caveats that already touched upon, including the arts, music, instructional materials discretionary block grant. They're always recommending a cut to that of about 200 million, which is, I believe, half of what the governor's proposal was for the overall number. And then a reduction of the K-12 learning recovery emergency block grant of about 400, for the sake of the easy number, $500 million, which is a small portion of what Governor Newsom's May revise suggested doing with that. His suggestion was to cut that back by about 33%, which is interesting because it's money we've already received. So for them to then turn around and claw it back becomes, an interesting accounting challenge. But at what his proposed number was, it would be about $2 million for the district if it were scaled back at 33%. Actually, all right. Yes.
When you're ready. You want me to wait or?
No.
I was gonna go back to that reductions by the legislature's budget.
Mhm.
All right, on that K-12 budget recovery, if my memory serves me right, that amount that we received is like 4-point-something million.
Yeah, it's pretty close to
Oh, pretty
$5
close.
million. Yeah.
Okay, so 33% of that is a little less than, should be less than 2 million. How I do my math, but anyway, I think you and I discussed this, and I just wanted to bring this up for the board's awareness that this, although they could, I guess, potentially retract that couple million or 1.7, whatever it is. But I think you shared with me, or I learned this somewhere, that they may just let us keep the 4.9, whatever, $5 million and remove the whatever our percentage would be from next year's budget. Can you elaborate a little bit on that possibility?
So yeah, there's a couple different methods. The one that, at least to me, makes the most sense isn't have every district in the state send a check back to CDE, but on future apportionments, decrease what would be apportioned by an amount of, then basically they cancel each other out since the money is already with our, county treasury. But there's still, we probably won't find out until after the budget's out and there's trailer bill language on specifically what are those mechanics gonna be. Some districts are setting up a accounts payable liability for it so that it's, so it's already not being factored into, okay, how are we gonna allocate these funds to our sites and, for our programs. So there's without much of a clarity, it's kind of, up to each district and county to kind of, at least try and read the tea leaves of what's gonna happen.
Thank you, Robert.
All right, so we're still in a era of having a cap on our reserves in order to stay at below 10%. A lot of our reserves are because of our LCAP carryover, and that's why you see things like the NPR in there for $7 million is because so that coming out of COVID and the competing interest of using federal one-time dollars, our LCAP dollars, where several pots of money that all address the same thing, basically. We have, carryover because shelf life on at least the LCAP dollars is longer than the COVID funds. If they're not spent by a deadline, we have to send that money back. Alternatively, at least if we can carry over, at least while not the intent of the LCAP to give us money and then not spend it, at least it's created a pocket that we can have sitting there without worry that if it's not encumbered or spent by a certain deadline that it's all going to go away. So In order to stay under the cap of 10%, there will be funds committed, with the intent that they are going back into the LCAP actions so that, the budget that Dan went through, for those actions includes that carryover amount in it already. So we already, know what our carryover is, and it's been, allocated within the, plan for the, 23-24 year. No change in STRS this year. It's the employer paid portion is staying at 19.1%, but PERS is increasing to 26.68%, which is about a little bit less than a 2% jump. But PERS is expected to climb up near 30% within the next 3 years. From May of 2022 to 2023, the consumer price index has increased 4%. The CPI is, used to measure inflation. So, looking at my presentation from a year ago, whereas Mr. Porterfield would say the good old days of pre-presidency of RTA, we were looking at we were coming up close to 8% there. So inflation is down it's still higher than the feds would like. They're aiming for 2%. So it's still higher than it has been, but it is moving downwards. And then come 2024, there is going to be a increase in minimum wage. It's currently $15.50. It'll go to $16. And then other challenges going forward, increased health and welfare costs. All district plans across the board are up. The LCAP carryover is equal to the balance of what it was. Clearly, I didn't finish my thought on that one. But if we look from this year's LCAP, I'm going to say this year's because we're still in June. This year's LCAP, we've expended all of the SNC we got. So really our carryover for into next year is the same carryover as it was as last year's coming in. And then continued use of one-time ESSER 3 funds for 23-24. Funds need to be obligated no later than August of 2024, with final invoices paid by the end of December of 2024. Anything that, even if we paid, created the invoice and PO for it by, December, if we haven't cut a check for that amount of money is going to, CDE is going to want that back so that they can give it back to the federal government so that we are meeting our, obligations and deadlines and timelines. And it's not anticipated that there will be any extension on the lifetime for the ESSER 3 funds. It's the third round of COVID funding that we received. So at this point, barring something absolutely catastrophic, and it's anticipated that everything's going to go to the end of its useful life and without any extensions that have happened with a couple of the other funding sources. And that is the end of my presentation.
All right. Well, we gotta go to open. So, do we have a motion? Motion to go to open. That is 8:34. Okay, do we have public hearing? All in favor? Aye. Do we have any public comments? Or any questions from anybody? Well, of course.
In your draft,
Mhm.
on page 5, the bottom line is salaries and benefits, right? Say all the way down to the bottom, it says number 11.
What form are you looking at? Are you looking at the NYP?
Back, there's two.
Who's at the page 5 in the back?
Say it about, yeah, in the back.
In the back
There's a
there.
second, there's a second.
This is page 6.
Looks like-
The sum is 64,
Keep
912,
going.
500.
Mhm.
Is that the total benefits, salary for both classified and certificated?
The 64,912,571 cents.
Yep.
That is the total of salaries, benefits, supplies, services. That's the whole kit and caboodle
Okay,
of all of our expenditures
okay.
for the combined restricted and
That's, I was gonna say, because when I did the math on that, it didn't look right. But now that you explain it that way, it makes sense.
Which line is that, Mario?
I'm over here with my calculator and it did,
Should be, yeah.
my calculations were not correct.
Remember, he's gotta go back to the drawing board because,
No, I know, I just,
no, I know the question, I understand.
But that's not all salaries and benefits, correct, Robert?
no, that's everything. That's
That's
all of our,
everything.
that's,
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so that makes me feel much better.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
we- we-
yeah, district our size, if our salary and benefits were pushing $65 million, we
That's what I was thinking.
somebody hit oil somewhere and, you know, we're probably not getting state aid anymore. We're getting, you know, property taxes are paying all of our bills.
Yeah, I saw that, it's like, what am I looking at? And never mind.
Okay.
My brain went somewhere totally different.
Do you have, Robert, the most recent and accurate percent of funds that, I know at one time we were 70-ish, where that is going out in salary and benefits at this point in time? Do you have any, I mean,
We are in the same neighborhood. It's
Okay.
gonna fluctuate a little bit with the out years, and for the multi-year, I'm being as conservative as possible and knowing that, especially if you look at the restricted numbers with the expiration of the COVID dollars, some of those costs are gonna drop heavily because they're no longer available to us to use. And then not knowing what state revenue and for, you know, this year's gonna be, let alone the 24, 25, 26, 27 years. Didn't add anything else to what the estimated COLA was besides the amounts already projected by School Services of California, where they have their handy dartboard that is used up and down the state of, you know, this is what at least is projected until we then, you know, run into a pandemic and COLAs shoot way up because everything is cattywampus there.
Any other questions?
I got it.
You got, it? Okay.
Motion.
Okay.
Thank
motion
you
to
both
go-
for your presentation.
Yeah, very. Okay, we go back into, close the public hearing at
39?
8:39. Do I have a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approve memorandum of understanding between SKUSD and the California School Employees Association, CSEA, and its Roseman chapter number 587 concerning changes in employee and work schedule and/or work location. Ms. Gaines?
Yes, this is just an MOU that was constructed between CSEA and myself and Paul and Mr. Paul Irving, our Director of Human Resources. And I'm trying to find the page that that's on in your packet if you haven't seen it. I thought I had it marked, but apparently I did not. anyway, it's basically allowing the movement of paraeducators as needed by the Assistant Superintendent of Special Education to meet the needs of our students in an emergency or changing environment.
That sounds like a good idea.
I will make a motion to accept.
Okay, Mario,
Second by Moore.
second by Moore, all in favor? Aye. Approve memorandum of understanding between SKUSD and the California Schools Employees Association, CSEA, in its Roseman chapter number 587 regarding a new food service cook classification position.
Yes, and I am going to, if you will allow me, Mr. President, to refer this to Mr. Paul Irving because he knows more about this job description and the need, et cetera, to hire the food service cook. So Paul, if you could just give the board a little brief summary about this position.
So with the latest company we work with food service with Cartwell, more food is actually cooked and prepared than what was done with Stexo previously, where that was more warm up and serve versus made from scratch. So the intent was create a position for a cook, so that way we have consistency in the kitchens at all sites. The same person is cooking using the same equipment, so that the quality control can be there, and we're serving food that people actually want versus here's some burnt grilled cheese. Because we have a new person working as the cook today. Additionally, the food service cook is more hours than the food service worker so that they're there in the morning, cooking breakfast through lunch. So again, that consistency stays there. And the main intent is to have that quality control that also has an added benefit of it creates a position for food service workers to move up to, that's additional hours and additional wages, so we can have people continue to grow within the district and stick around longer and have that community in the kitchens and all of that.
And based on my little surveys with a lot of the students, they like the current way of it being made on site.
Yeah.
And I can concur with that because when I was in high school, we had a cafeteria that started at ours, and I know I got to work in the morning to bring out all the stuff the ladies made the next night to feed us the next day. So and the kids really liked the current method and from the current food service contract. I'm glad to see that we're doing it. I really am. Okay, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Moore.
I second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Personnel items. Since Mrs. Harder's not here, anything you want to add?
We are saying it started the stipends for next year for our department chairs, classroom needs, all that stuff. Get into place so we know who our leadership teams are gonna be. We're also trying to remember what was on there, I believe we have a new assistant principal for Roseman Elementary listed on this particular board agenda. And then Casey moving over from RES to West Park. So that's about it.
That's about it. Do I have a motion?
Motion to accept personnel is written.
Second.
Okay, that's four. Adrian, all in favor? Aye. I motion that we adjourn. No?
I would like to make a motion to go to closed session for a quick discussion,
Okay,
if I may.
yes, you may. So we're gonna go ahead. Mario? Okay, let's see. Closed session. Okay, Mario. Second,
Second by more.
Warren? All in favor?
Aye. We can do it here or over there, doesn't matter. It just, I need to speak for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, we can.
So all money right now, we'll go back over there.
So you're gonna adjourn or?
Huh?
Oh, no.
We'll adjourn over there.
Yeah, we'll adjourn over there.
Oh, okay,
We'll let you know before you leave.
okay.
This is gonna be quick.
That's it.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
We don't have 7. Social emotional learning specialist goal 2.
You said there's a drill next door. That's what I heard.
Yeah. Didn't he say they were gonna adjourn over there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're adjourned over there.
Yeah, you missed the excellent.
See you tomorrow.
Really is.
9, right?
It's like, it's almost like the,
See you, man.
Later, Dan.
it's like the secret bullet of education.
How did they bring the posters back so neat?
Taking off?
I
want to take off.
Okay, bye, sir.
Hold them up and rubber band them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it not folded or not?
But not, yeah, yeah, just wad it up, I guess.
Yeah.
I got my backpack. Are they yelled at?
No.
Okay.
I
have a
I have the,
sorry.
Oh, goodness. When are you ever yelled at?
I'm still recording. I can't pause it.
Watch what I said.
Yeah.
Watching the Richard Pryor comments.
Do you want these copies back or? Okay. Just wanna make sure.
Is that candy still an option?
Yes, I have some here.
Robert is here. John, I got a subscription to Peacock.
What did you?
Do you have Peacock?
Yes. Next, I've been off and on this show on Amazon for 3 years. But it's just sit down. Stop watching it. The show is The Man in the High Castle.
Oh, I watched the first season.
Okay. Third, about step 4. But Peacock, I want to get into the comic. I love Star Trek.
Well,
So that's what I want to watch next. Peacock, I believe. No, or is that? No, that's Universal. Peacock is. Yeah, that's Universal. So Card would be on the Paramount. So because Paramount had a show last year. I thought it was one of the best shows about the guy who produced The Godfather. Struggles he went through.
Oh, yeah, you know what? If you send them to me,
And he's
I'll include
just
them in the
someone-
next agenda.
I have been obsessed with it because this guy produced then Coppola produced the next one, but Coppola was a virtual unknown. The Godfather's what made him. And then he had the power to do more. Well, the guy didn't want to produce the Godfather. I think the Godfather was such a headache. He didn't want to do it again. And so he went off and to go from The Godfather to producing one of the worst, a movie, an action movie that is so bad it's good. Megaforce, maybe 2. Yeah, if you watch it, you'll know what I'm saying. It's just absolutely, it's so bad.
Bob loves
And he also
chocolate.
produced Kendall, right, which was a big hit. But
I saw that movie.
yeah, I saw that was 10. No, it's still my brother. Actually, my favorite. What we call guilty pleasure. We know it's not good.
Yeah.
And plus, it was shot this on the screen.
Really? You like the movie?
Yeah, the fight scene. Back away, back in 80, 81, the whole time there. And then that area behind the truck with Walden, where they shot with Thunder, where they shot the saddles. Yeah.
You like more chocolate?
That's a spot. There's like still not one. Still good.
Yeah.
That was one of those first underrated movies. Again, insane stunts. Of course, around that time, you would have the biggest stunt tragedy. No, that was the director of the video. He's not going to do a non-action. There's a bucker. Yeah.
Or to go on News Line and watch a little bit.
I love a good bad movie. And I love the I read an article on why the guy started
versus the previous one, which like there's just
so that's the day I saw the last Star Wars movie, Rise of Skywalker, whatever that, I saw Cats there. And, you know, my kids are going to like scouts here. Later kind of said, you know, I do think this is all Star Wars. But my cat is really, my friend, she's like my musical friend. And I couldn't stop. And it was just, and
I know, it's a lot of writing.
I was remembering why I think I started press. It's just like, I can't stop.
You guys were busy?
And Salmon double back when they had double features. And he left. Yeah.
That's always
This guy
good.
left those 2 movies.
Good to be excited.
I want other people to see it so I can remember how bad it is. I can't stop thinking about him. And he realized, oh, there's something in it, good, bad. I know it's not.
And more chocolate, guys? Okay?
Something like I saw
Huh?
I just didn't like.
Oh, goodness. Not going there, Paul.
And I rewatched the last 15 minutes of last week. Saturday, I think it was Saturday morning.
Remember, you're still being recorded. Talking about your little sweetness. Forever good to hear on YouTube. Oh, God. You're bad.
I sat in the theater and I was going to actually watch it again. I would do these 3-day trips in Hollywood to see the Oscars. They had to play in Hollywood for a week. That Oscar celebration. And that 2019 now, these are the good group of movies. Well, I do the illustrations forms, so within the form of it. But I was going to go see Cats, and then they were showing, they were having a special private screening of not private. I found out it's late.
Oh, you saw that.
With Quentin, Leo, and Speed. So somebody, I put in a tape that morning. The guy goes like, I Yeah, so I watched that. That was like before the movie.
So they took questions or something?
I don't know if they took what they spoke about.
Oh, that sounds great.
No, I've been told that theater, maybe it's the you get, they would put on a lot of shows, actor or director that comes in. He just bought one, but he restored a place called the New Beverly, where he does like how I was double features. Every night there's like a new double feature. Last time I went was, I went on our day off for a conference. They were doing a horror. There was one horror movie that had some good reviews. But it got re-released because they made it.
Because Grant settle hands.
It was about
Walking by saying German Catholic.
And they did this a lot back in the 70s. And what they do is they would re-release a movie, just change its name, re-release it. If there was an actor, yeah, that's what other Shields. This daughter, first 10 minutes, but then she got big a couple years later, and so she's on posters, Rick Shelley. The second movie was one I always been interested in. One of those slasher movies. It had a neat poster. The meat on the stick. Where it's going to the guy's mouth and it's down. So it had that great fight. Again, it was one of those. It had this surprise ending that was just so outrageous. It was the sister from the hospital was the main actress.
I think they said they were gonna adjourn.
Oh, they're not done that.
I don't know, they're not. I don't want to
I mean,
try.
I'll finish my conversation with Dan.
Yeah, they said it would adjourn in closed session.